Hey folks, welcome to another evening with me, Kalu Aja. We're doing our money space, and of course, in this space, we're talking money, the economy, and finance. We want to make all those finance topics really easy for you guys to follow. So, of course, you can be a better investor, a better taxpayer, right? That's the word. So, this week, or this, we're trying to do from this week all the way to the end of the year, we are trying to do our financial health check. We do this every year, guys. If you just follow, we do this every year. And essentially, give me a sec, guys. Essentially, this year we are doing our financial health check to walk you through the year, right? How should you set up your finances, sort of to get you ready for the new year? That's what we want to get done today. So I have a lot of stuff I'm going to share. If you've got the book already, fantastic, because we're going to do a lot of sharing from the book. I'm going to give you a few checkpoints. That's why I said bring your notes in. So go do a few checkpoints for you guys to write out what you want to basically do from now till the year is over. That will really assist you. We're also on YouTube because I think I can share more visuals on YouTube as well. So I did share the YouTube link on Twitter if you want to follow on YouTube as well. So that way it's easier for us to just share those visuals, and then of course you can follow, right? So it's a financial health check, just like how you go to your doctor and you say, hey, this is the end of year. I like you to look at what I'm doing, look at my vitals, and see if what I'm doing is okay. That's what we're doing today. We're doing that check for you today, right? Essentially, we want to take a look and see if your vitals are doing fantastic, and then just give you, should we say, a stepping stone towards New Year. We're not going to show you, oh, if you invest here, you make 10% here. The idea is to tell you how to do it, the right way to arrange your finances, your expenditures, what you want to look out for. That's what we want to achieve today. Show you how to arrange this thing because it's a process. There's an industry. Financial planning is actually an industry, a lot of experts in it. And if you went to a financial planning guy, they will charge you and say, hey, we want you to do this, and then we'll give you advice. That's what I'm going to teach you today here for free, how to organize your finances. So that way you come up in 2026 a lot better, right? Keep in mind exactly that we're going to have a new tax year coming 2026. We're going to touch on that just a bit, but the whole idea today is just to set you up for the new year, right? Fantastic. So where do we start from? If you've got your notes, guys, let me just take your notes. Let me just walk you through how I like you to look at your finances. What should you do first in 2026? So we're going to first of all tell you what you should do in 2026 in order. I'll go from number one to number five. Write that down, keep it. Then we're going to now come back to that list and then say, okay, what should you do in this individual things I've listed out? So, new year, let's assume you haven't invested before. It's going to be your first time you're investing. How should you approach investing? This is where I want to start from, right? The very first thing I'd like you to do in this 2025, before we get to 2026, excuse me, is to have a financial plan. Nothing complex. I want you to write down what you want to achieve next year, next 5 years, and next 10 years, and then put a why at the back of that. So just take that note down. So, first of all, you want to basically write out your plan. You want to say, I'd like to achieve X by next year, 2027. I like to achieve X by 2030. That's 5 years. I like to achieve X by 2040. Don't say, I don't know what's going to happen in 2040. Write it down on paper and be very specific. Don't say, I want to be rich. Say, I want to have X amount of money in my checking account in 2025. Then put why behind it. The why makes you reason out. If it's not a serious thing, it will go out in the why. Put the why at the end. So, right now, the very first thing you want to do in your plan for 2026 is to write out your financial goals. Nothing complex. Like I said, if you go to a professional, I'm going to tell you, hey, do it this way. I'm going to keep it very, very simple for you guys. Write out what you want to achieve next year, 5 years, and 10 years. These are financial plans, not I want to get married, right? But financial plans. Put a why to it. And if possible, put a number to it. I give you a good example. You can say, I like to, you don't say I want to retire, right? That's not a financial plan, but I would like to have 50 million in my retirement savings account by 2030. That's now a final retirement plan, but in money terms. So you want to have that plan out in money terms. For instance, don't say I want to buy a house. I would like to save towards my mortgage, or I'd like to get a mortgage and pay towards my mortgage to have 30% equity. Try to put figures, try to put dates, try to put an end point. That's the very, very first thing you want to do today, i.e., we're in 2025. This plan you're writing is for 2026, for 2030 or 31, and of course for 2040 and 41. So it's a 1 year plan, it's a 5 year plan, then of course it's a 10-year plan. And you want to put numbers behind it, you want to put why behind it. Very, very important, right? So just going to share this also on YouTube so you can see my high-tech board, how I've put it on my high-tech board. The number one thing we're doing today is going to be plan. And I think I shared the YouTube link on Twitter. So if you just go on Twitter, you should be able to see where I share that, and you can follow the visuals if you want, if you're more of a visual person, right? Excellent. So the first thing you want to do is to is to plan. What's the next thing you want to do? After you plan, you don't, most people say, I'd like to invest. The very, very first investment you'd like to make is you want to do insurance, life insurance. Oh, hang on, Kalu. When you insure your life, guys, there's not like life insurance. You're not insuring that you're not going to pass on. What you are insuring is that if the income that you bring to your household is eliminated, you have a way to fund the dependence lifestyle. So the key thing is this: if you have no dependence, skip number two, which is insurance. You don't need insurance if you have no dependence. I'm not talking about car insurance or asset insurance. We're being specific now to life insurance. So if you have a dependent, who's a dependent? If you have a wife, if you've got kids, if you've got parents, those are your dependents, right? So you want to plan for them. You want to say, if the income I am making goes away, will they suffer? If I have a mortgage on my house, who pays the mortgage? So what you want to then do is not to insure your life per se, but to insure the expenses and the obligations that if you went away would be affected. So a good way to do is to say, if I have a mortgage and I owe 70 million, then I want to take life insurance for about 80 million. Because if I pass on, I like my dependents to take my life insurance and pay my mortgage. The same thing with if I have kids. If I have kids, I like to take my life insurance and pay that life insurance to a trust that is going to pay the education of my children. So that's why life insurance is most important before you invest. Life insurance is a unique investment. It's the only investment you have on earth where you can put in 1 naira and the next day you have 1 million, sum assured. Even if you don't pay the 1 million, should anything happen to you, there is no other investment like that in the whole world where you can put in 1 naira and you automatically qualify for the sum assured. So let's say you bought a house, you owe 70 million, you've got a daughter, you want to take her through university, and these two targets are going to cost you in effect about 100 million, right? You want to basically say, hey, I want to buy life insurance for 100 million. You go to the insurance company, you ask them what the premium would be. If they give you a premium of, say, 2 million a year, once you pay that 2 million a year, you have qualified to receive 100 million should anything happen to you. Remember, you're not insuring your life, you are insuring the loss of income. So that's the first thing you do before you invest. So you first of all you plan for next year, for 5 years, for 10 years, you do that plan. Then you do your life insurance. And your life insurance is designed to pay your dependents. Very, very important. What's the next thing you do? You do your emergency fund. Guys, it's got to be in this order. You don't jump. You do your emergency fund. What's your emergency fund? Your emergency fund is 3 to 6 months of your expenses, specifically your non-discretionary expenses. What are non-discretionary expenses? These are expenses you must make even if you have no money. So, for instance, if you have to eat, you're not going to say, I'm not going to eat because I have no money. You've got to eat. So, food, fuel, rent, these are all your non discretionary expenses. So, your emergency fund is the fund that will pay for your non discretionary expenses for a minimum of 3 months should anything happen to you. So, what you want to do now is to have a savings account. It can't be an investment account, it's got to be a savings account, right? And that savings account is where you would accumulate cash or near cash. You can't go buy stocks or Bitcoin. It's got to be cash or near cash that you can easily liquidate and easily then get cash to cover an expense or an emergency that you did not foresee. That's what your emergency fund is going to be, right? You want to essentially take that money and build up a reserve that's going to be 3 to 6 months of your non-discretionary expenses. That's what you want to do after you do insurance. Of course, you're not going to build up 3 months immediately. You can start to accumulate. You can say, okay, what's my total expenses? Let's say my total expense is going to be 5 million. What's the really non-discretionary, like my food, my rent, my medical insurance? Let's say it's come to 3 million. You can't contribute 3 million today. I get it. But you can do 500,000 and you can start to grow that fund. That fund should be minimum 3 months of your non-discretionary expenses. This is very, very important that you do this before you invest. Because if you go invest without having an emergency fund and you have an emergency, you might have to sell your position at a loss, which you don't want to do, right? So very, very important to do your planning, 1 year, 5 year, 10-year plan. Then you do your life insurance, which is not life insurance per se, but it's to cover your expenditures for your dependents should anything happen to you, your rent, your mortgage, your children's education. That goes to your life insurance. So you set up a vehicle. The life insurance pays to that vehicle. The vehicle then takes care of your needs. Life insurance is not taxable. So it's not going to be taxable to your next of kin, life insurance, or to your beneficiaries. Whoever you put as a life insurance person gets it. Life insurance does not go to your will. It is not going to be adjudicated in court. Whoever you put as the beneficiary of life insurance is who gets it. Very important. Then you do your emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of your expenses. Very, very important. It's only after you do 1, 2, 3, you then go towards retirement. You invest towards your retirement. If you live in America, you must do your 401k. If you live in Nigeria, you must open up a retirement savings account. Why must you do this first? Because they are tax advantaged. If you don't do them, you are leaving money on the table. The government is giving you a tax-free investment to say, hey, we want to give you, you want to save money in this account because it is tax-free. So you take advantage of that, first of all, before you go and invest. You open up your 401k or your retirement savings account. This is where you put in the statutory. If you're in America, you make sure you are matching what your employer is doing. So in America, they will tell you if you put in a percentage, we will match you. Whatever the company match is, you must do that because that's where you are getting a pay raise or you are getting the free funds from your employer. You don't go below the match. You meet the match. If you're in Nigeria, it's already set up for you. It's 18%, 10% from your employer, 8% from you. Make sure at the minimum you are doing that 18%. If you want to do additional voluntary contribution, perfect. But at the minimum, you are doing this guy, 18% at the minimum. It's only after you have done 1, 2, 3, and 4 that you can then go and invest. That's now a different topic entirely. Where to invest, how to invest, which asset classes. That's when you go towards investment. You don't in 2026 rush and buy bonds and shares without doing 1, 2, 3, 4, without planning, buying insurance, having an emergency fund, and having your retirement set up. So, guys, this is the first lesson I want to make sure that we get through across to you today. You've got to make sure that this coming year you plan, and the plan is very, very simple. 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, what you want to accomplish. Put a monetary figure, put why. Have it in your plan. If you're married, do it together with your spouse. Very, very important that both of you agree. Then your insurance. We're not doing life insurance. We are using life insurance as a vehicle to cover our dependents should we lose income. That's what we're doing with insurance. And like I said, life insurance is a unique investment. It's the only investment on earth where you can put in 1 naira and get 1 million tomorrow. So you do life insurance, you ask yourself, what are my obligations? Mortgage, education for my kids. You calculate what that would cost you. That's what you buy the life insurance for, not for your life, but to cover your obligations, like a target savings. Then you pay the premiums. When you pay premiums in Nigeria today, those premiums are tax deductible. So you actually reduce your income that you pay tax when you buy life insurance. And also, when life insurance company pays your dependents, it is also not income to them. So they don't pay insurance on that. So you want to make sure that you are taking advantage of life insurance tax policies. Then you do your emergency fund, 3 months, 3 months of your expenses, 3 months minimum. You can do more of your expenses, not just expenses, the non-discretionary expenses, things you must do, food, rent, that comes here. Then you do your retirement because you're getting a tax advantage. If you're in America, 401k, IRA, Roth IRAs, all that, you do all that. If in Nigeria, your retirement savings account. It's only after then you then talk about you want to invest, you want to buy a T-bill, you want to beat inflation. You don't do that before you get to five, right? So I hope you guys are taking great notes. Like I said, if you're on YouTube, I did hold out a visual, and of course, it's going to be recorded. So you can also go back and look at what I've posted out for you guys, right? So I'm going to allow you guys speak, but let me go real quick into what we are going to do in 2026, right? So again, we have a board. So I've told you guys the whole strategy, our whole plan for 2026, for 2031, 2041, which is the 1 year, 5 year, 10 year. But for 2026, this next year coming, this is what I want you guys to do. Again, on YouTube, I'm holding up the board. This is what we call our real financial health check. That's what the board I'm holding up. And on the financial health check, it's a series of exercises where we want to basically look at our income, at our expenses, right? And then we want to look at our assets, our liabilities, and then we look at them. The same we look at our temperature, our blood pressure, our weight, and then we get an idea of if we're doing something well. This is what we're trying to do, but in finance terms. How do we do this? So after this, guys, I'm going to let you guys speak, right? If you have a question, there's a lot. I'm going to stop on this one. I do have a lot of chats, but we're going to stop on this one. So I don't want to overload you guys with information. Maybe we'll have this next week, but let's go to this chat. So for 2026 and every year, this is what you want to do. Right now, if you have done this, we did this last year. If you were tracking your expenses, fantastic. If you didn't track your expenses last year, you want to start day 2026. It's a good time to start. What to doing by tracking your income and expenses? Income is easy to track. You get your paycheck, it goes to your bank account, you can see it there. But expenses is where the problem is because you spend from your card, from cash, you don't write it out. You need to track your expenses, especially. How? Excel sheet, expense trackers, and lots of expense trackers, or just having a paper and a notepad in your pocket. What I mean track your expense, I mean track every single kobo that leaves your pocket. There is no miscellaneous. There is no dash. Every single kobo leaves your pocket, you write it down. You write on your notepad. When you get back home, you put on your Excel sheet. Why? You find out because we want to know what you make as income and what make as expenses. Let's quickly go here to how I want you guys to track it. So again, if you're on YouTube, guys, I'm showing you the visuals, right? So for income, you want to have two. Expenditures, you want to have two headers. Income is going to be active and passive income. So income will be active and passive income. Expenditure is going to be non-discretionary expenses and discretionary expenses. What do they all mean? Active income is the income that you do when you're not there. You're not there, you own a business, but you're not there. So the business basically makes income for you. That's basically active income. So you work, sorry, active income, you are there. I do apologize. Active income, you are there. You work for a bank, you are working at the bank, you have to go 9 to 5. So you make active income. So you are actively involved. You own the business, you're a lawyer, you are actively involved. So that's your active income. Your passive income is you're not there. Income comes to you, but you're not there. You're not physically there. You're not physically there. It could be you own a business, but you're not a partner there. You just get the income, or you own shares, or you own the property like rent. That's your passive income. So for your income, remember we said number one, you've got to track your income and expenses. This is how you do it, right? You track your income, you track your expenses. So this is your income, active and passive. Expenditure, you want to break it down into two. You determine what is a non-discretionary and a discretionary income. What do we mean by NDE, non-discretionary? These are the important things that you must pay, that if you don't pay, you can't survive. So clearly, food is a non-discretionary income, right? Food is non-discretionary. Rent is non-discretionary. What about your DSTV, your cable bills? Someone might say, I use my cable to do business. I have to know what the rates are to do business. So it's going to come as an NDE. Some might say, no, 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 cable is just an expense, a luxury. So they're going to come as a discretionary expense. You determine what these two are. If going on a holiday for you is important because you want to rest, sure, NDE. If not, if it's a luxury for you, sure, DE. You determine what it is. But the point is, you now see why this is important, how you define this exactly. So for your tracking, for active, passive for income, NDE, which is non-discretionary income or important income, so important expenses, and discretionary expenses, important expenditures under the expenditure column. So for active, passive, non-discretionary, and discretionary. Now, what are you trying to achieve? When you track your income and expenses, what do you do next? You categorize them. You categorize them. What does categorization mean? Let's say you bought suya, you bought meat pie, then you bought tomatoes, pepper, and you cooked food at home. That's all food. But suya, you bought suya outside. Meat pie, you bought meat pie outside. Food, tomatoes, you cooked food at home. So you can categorize it into eating out and eating in. You bought engine oil, you bought gas, it's all for your car. You also bought insurance, but you can categorize it as utilities, as petrol, whatever you want to categorize it as. So when you track your expenses on your Excel sheet, after 90 days, you go back and you categorize them. So you can do them after 1 month, that's fine. Just categorize it. Say, I spent this, and this category is going to be utilities, or this is going to be travel, or this is going to be bribe. Every kobo. Don't say it's illegal. No, no, no. If you give someone a bribe or dash or gift, you go partying, you go clubbing, whatever it is, put it on your list. You want to know where your money is going to. You'll be shocked when you do this, where your money is going to. So you want to make sure you put everything and you categorize it clearly. So you do your income and expenditures, you categorize, then what do you do next? You want to then do an exercise. This number 3 is very, very important. You want to calculate if your your passive income, your passive income can pay your expenses. If your passive income, what is passive income? Passive income is the income that you make when you are not there. You bought shares, you own a house, you have an annuity, you have a partnership in a business. This income under passive, when this income can pay your expenses, that's when you can retire. That's what retirement means. When your passive income, not your active income, when your passive income can pay your expenses, that's when you can retire. That's when you can stop working. That's when you are now rich. Rich people use their passive income. If you are not yet rich, you use your active income. That's how you know if you're rich or if you're poor. So ask yourself today, if I don't go to work for 5 years, can I eat? Yes, that's because you have passive income. So if you own 5 flats in Ikoyi, you get to rent out 5 flats. You can go to Greece, and of course, you're paying your ticket, you're paying your expenses in Greece from your passive income. But if you have to go to work every day or every month to then pay your expenses, then of course you can't retire. And it doesn't mean you retire; it just means you can. Mr. Dangote doesn't have to go to work every day. He gets passive income from dividends that he owns a refinery and a cement factory. So this is why you want to do the categorization. So what does that mean? That means that the whole idea of a financial plan, guys, is that we want to have a financial plan that builds income, passive income for us to pay our expenses. That's the whole reason why we are working, is to and have a financial plan where we are able to build income, passive income from active income. Essentially, that's it. So I'm trying to share on Twitter, and I'm going to share it on the Twitter now. This diagram that explains in more detail what I've just talked about. I'll just copy it and I'll go to Twitter and I'll share. That's going to be those lessons, and I'll share. If you look at that diagram, it would explain what I'm trying to get to. The whole idea, all this investing we're talking about, all this you making money is really designed around this diagram I just shared now on Twitter. So if you go on Twitter, you'll see what I just shared now, and you will see where we have the active income, you see where we have the passive income, you see our expenses, discretionary and non-discretionary. So so if you look on Twitter, it's a fantastic visual. You are working, that's number one. You work actively. When you work, the whole idea is to try to convert your active income to passive income. That's why you save. That's why you are buying shares. That's why you are buying that land in Moe and Aba and Katsina, because you are trying to convert your active income, which means you have to go to work, to passive income. That's number two. Then number three is what? You are tracking your expenses. What's the most important expense? Your non-discretionary expenses, your food, your rent, your medicals. Then what's the other expense? Your discretionary expenses, your holidays, your new dress. So the whole idea is that you want to take your active income, save first for your passive income. So you save first in the passive income before you spend on your expenses. So it's number one, number two, then number three, then number four. Then look at number five, when your passive income can cover number three. So when your number two can pay for number three, number five means you have retired. And we're talking about what the diagram we have on Twitter. That's essentially what you are all trying to achieve when you do this. You're trying to convert your active to passive income so that passive income can pay your expenses. This will not happen in 1 year or in 5 years or in 10 years for many of us. That's why your plan, when we talked about the first thing you want to do, we said plan. Your plan is how you can convert your active income to passive income. So when we say plan, this is what we're trying to get you to do. We're trying to say, hey, you can't plan to go from active to passive without having insurance, emergency fund, retirement. Then you invest. You can't just hop and say, I would like to invest in passive income without having a retirement account, emergency fund, or insurance. This is the whole plan. The plan is to convert from active to passive. That's when you retire. But you can only do that when you are able to track and to basically to get all your expenses and ducks in a row. Folks, I've been talking for 20 minutes, so I'd like to hear you guys have any questions and feedbacks you may have before we continue. I do have a lot, but let me have you guys come back to me with feedback and questions that you have in, so that way I can just know that you guys are basically following. So I do have a lot of DMs. DMs are harder for me to read because I have to look down and read. But so if you want to speak, I will take it. Or I'll still go into your DMs and I'll still read them. And DMs have changed. It's now chat. So I have a lot. I apologize. DMs are just harder to read. So if you want the request to speak, please do, and easier for me to just listen and respond. But this is a very, very good one. Just to be clear, I have a lot of I have a lot of shares and stocks. So you were saying that, yeah, I get your question. So what I'm saying with the passive income, the whole idea of your passive income, the whole idea of why you have those stocks you're talking about is that you want those stocks to generate income for you. Yes, if you buy a stock that's not generating income for you today, that's not a problem. But in future, you might be able to sell that stock and generate income to pay your expenses. So it's a good question you're asking, that you have passive income, you have land today that is not paying you any income. That's really not passive income. That's just an asset, right? So it's just an asset. It has to generate income for it to go in here. So if you look at the richest people on earth, what do they have in common? They own a business. A business is the fastest way for you to get wealthy, but the business generates income. So simply having land is an asset. If the land does not generate income, it's not passive income. You see the point I'm making? Kingsley, see the point I'm making? It's got to generate income to go into this chart. Otherwise, it's an asset. Can an asset help you? If you can sell the asset tomorrow and it generates income for you, that is fantastic. But if you can have assets that generate income for you, fantastic. Don't go sell your land and say, oh, no, no, leave your land alone. But the land has got to then have a property on it to generate income for you, or you can use that land to then have as do something with your assets. The point I'm making, just having the asset alone, without it bringing income to you, is really not going to work for you in this instance. So lots of you are going to be asset rich but cash poor. But remember, the whole idea is you want to have cash so you can pay your expenses. If you have a home in your village, that's an asset. But that home generates no income. It's not going to pay your expenses in the city. You live, you need to eat and pay rent. So you've got to balance out your assets with your expenditure. So great question. Appreciate that question. Just thanks for making me that clarification. Assets are good, but we want to generate income from our assets. So Kingsley, does that make sense to you? Yeah, I see your question, but you've got to generate assets from that, right? Fantastic. And this other good one here, just to make sure. Yes. So life insurance, right? Let me just clarify again. You use life insurance as the vehicle to generate a dependency income. It's not for you anymore. And like I said, if you don't have dependents, you don't need life insurance because you're not buying any life insurance. You can do life insurance for a charity. You can say, if I pass on, my life insurance goes to my church or to Chelsea Football Club. You can do that. But the whole idea of life insurance for you is to say, I like to generate income. And that income is going to be going towards a target. What income? What target? Give you a good example. You have a daughter. You want your daughter to go to Harvard. You can go to a financial planner or just online. You do the present value of Harvard education back to today. It will tell you how much you have to invest today to be able to fund your daughter going to Harvard. If you do that, you take that money, you go to an insurance company and you say, I'd like to buy life insurance for myself. That life insurance should correspond to how much it will cost you today if you put the money in today to fund your daughter's Harvard education. If you want to do it in dollars, better. If you want to do it in Nigeria, in Naira, good. When you do that, if anything happens to you, the insurance company is going to pay you the benefits or pay to your estate or pay to your trust. You then take that trust and you then give it to a trustee and you say, I'd like you to use these funds to pay for my daughter to go to Harvard. That's what you want to do with life insurance. There's no other investment that is set up like this. You can have bonds, you can have shares, and you can say, yeah, I like to buy these bonds, then sell them. But then that means you have to sell them, you have to have a trustee. It's possible, but life insurance is just very, very smooth in that you can essentially set it up that way, pay to a trust. It's not expensive to get a trust, guys. Not expensive. Have a trust, have a corporate trustee, The corporate trustee will be the beneficiary of your trust, of your insurance company. So when you buy the insurance, you put the corporate trustee as the beneficiary. Then you and the corporate trustee will have a trust deed where you state what you want to happen. So that way, no one can challenge you in court. You can't take that thing to court. It's not justice. How's the word that lawyers use? You can't go to court for life insurance. Whoever is listed there is the beneficiary. So what you want to do is that you want to say, whilst you're alive, if you write the will, anything can happen. It can be challenged in court. Fani Ganifawemi, San, great lawyer, his will was still challenged, right? So you want to make sure you avoid all that stuff. Do a trust. Wills are fine. Do a will. Do a trust. Do a corporate trustee, and then get that done for you, right? So thanks again. That's another great question. Just looking for the ones that I haven't addressed here. Yes, non-discretionary expenses is whatever you say it is. But the problem is this. If you say your DSTV is a non-discretionary expense, that means the amount of passive income you need to do to pay your expenses will go up. So what happens if you do your exercise in 2026? I was going to tell you guys this. If you do your exercise, if you've done this in the past, and right now, right now, your total income cannot pay your total expenses. You just want to stop there because I have a problem with your working life. Your income should pay for your expenses. And I get it. In Nigeria, it's very, very expensive now to survive with the expenses going up. But if your income cannot pay for your expenses, there's a bit of a problem here because you really can't plan with all this. You can't save money when you are borrowing money to eat. You can't do anything about that. So instead of you doing the investing, like it's best for you to invest in yourself and grow your active income. See the point I'm making? So if you say, I don't have money to invest, I don't have money to do passive income, then that's your problem is not the passive income. Your problem is the active income. If your total income cannot cover your total expenses and you are covering your active income with borrowing, then your problem is that your active income is too small. And the way you cure that is to increase the active income. You can't cut you have to eat. You can't cut yourself down from 111 to 110 to no, you have to still eat. You have to take a cab. So I would advise that the best way to do this is for you to try to get some money and learn a skill. If you are working in this industry, perhaps you want to leave that industry, go learn a skill that you can increase your income. Then that becomes your goal. That becomes your plan to increase your active income. At this stage now, if you're trying to do passive income, is not your goal because your total income, active and passive, cannot meet your expenses. You cannot survive on borrowings to eat. So I hope that addresses that question for you, sir. If your income is not enough to do passive and insurance, then you have an income problem. And the way you fix an income problem is to try to increase your income, perhaps by taking on a skill that can then allow you to earn more income. Does that make sense? This week, I don't want to touch on the assets and liabilities. I'll leave that for the next time that we meet. I just want to focus more on the income and expense. So I get your question. We're not talking about the income, expenses, or debt. There's a whole plan for that. How to get out of debt, how to attach your debt to your income. Yes, there's a plan for that. But this week, I want to talk about the planning and also to introduce you guys to the active passive side. So that way we get that done because this is the basis of the whole financial plan. And then once you get this down, the next time we meet, we'll talk about the balance sheet. That's when we'll bring in debt. That's when we'll bring in assets. For now, we're talking about income and expenses because everybody has income and expenses. Not a lot of people have got debt. So if that makes sense to you, right? Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. All right, guys. Just hoping I'm not getting any requests to speak yet on Twitter. Thank you, Manuel. Thank you, Tompo. Yeah, I answered your questions already. If you do have a question, you can request to speak. That I have to read and stop, and it sort of puts me off. But yeah, yes. So investing, let me hold this chart up again. Yes, you will invest. Invest is the very, very last thing we have on our chart here. You can see we want to plan, and plan is we want to plan for next year, 2026, for 5 years and for 10 years. We want to do insurance to pay our dependents. We want to do our emergency fund, want to cover our retirement, then we invest. I'm going to leave invest for a totally topic talk for a totally different session where we can talk around what you want to invest. Your investments have got to match your plan. So if you say I want to invest for 10 years, the kind of assets you're going to buy will be different from if you say you want to invest for 1 year. That's why your plan comes before you're investing. You can't invest without a plan. So I give you a good example. The federal government does treasury bills or treasury savings bonds. Treasury savings bonds pay about 13% interest. Is the safest investment in Nigeria. 13% to about 15%. If I'm wrong, please correct me. 13 to 15%. That's the safest investment to have in Nigeria. The problem is that that investment does not beat inflation. So every time we talk around savings bonds, people always say, well, I don't want to buy savings bonds because they're not beating inflation. But I remind people, not everyone is investing to beat inflation. When you invest, you've got to invest according to your objectives. If your objective is to save money to pay your rent next year, then you should not be investing in stocks. Even though stocks overall, over the longer period will give you a better return or might beat inflation. You can't take your 1 year rent money and buy stocks or buy crypto because it's not guaranteed. You want that money back, all things considered, by next year. So you go to a bank and you say, I'd like to do fixed deposit for that money for 1 year. Even though it does not beat inflation, what you are more concerned about is getting your principal back. So your objective is simply 1 year. Your plan is not 5 years, not 10 years. So you can't buy stocks, you can't buy crypto. That's the point we're making. So your investment has to follow your plan. You can't buy investment because they pay a higher rate of return. No, you buy investment because it's according to your plan. So if you're planning to invest for 1 year, you invest in fixed deposits in the bank. Money market, yes. Treasury bills, yes, but not stocks, not crypto. Not that stocks and crypto are bad or that fixed deposits are better, but you only have 1 year. Because you have 1 year, you cannot invest in any asset class that is going to not give you your principal back guaranteed in 1 year. That's why we have investing at number 6. And yes, you have to follow it that way. You can't go and do retirement without an emergency fund. Why? Because if something happens to you, you'll be forced to sell your retirement assets to pay for your car getting knocked. So you have to follow this way: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You can't do 5 and then come back to 2. You can't, I see your question. You can't invest and take the money for investment and buy insurance. No, start the insurance small. Then as you get more money, increase your insurance. Don't try to game it. Don't say, oh, I'm going to invest, make money and buy insurance. No, start this one small. When you make money, yes, go back and invest, but start like that. Yeah. Fantastic question. Great. And let me just look at this one. That's a question I liked here. Yeah, this guy was. So I live in the US. Can you just talk about IRA? Um, IRA. Yeah. Okay. See, yeah. So I talked about IRAs and 401k. 401k in Nigeria is our version of RSA. So retirement savings account in Nigeria is the same as what Americans will call 401k, which is how you invest for your retirement. 401k simply means you're in America, the employer would invest for you and all that. In Nigeria, we have that retirement savings account. We put the money in, employer puts the money in, it's invested by the PFA. Your IRA, however, in America, is your individual retirement account. Individual retirement account. It's like your own personal investment account. for retirement. Why is it special? Because it's tax advantaged, which means if you put money into an IRA, there are two types of IRA. If you put money into the IRA, it has a tax advantage. There's the traditional IRA, there's the Roth IRA. I like Roth IRAs. If you put money into a traditional IRA, you pay taxes when you take it out. If you put money into a Roth IRA, you pay taxes today. But when you take it out, it's tax free. So if you're a younger person and you are investing, right? You want to do I'm just saying, just broadly, if you invest in a Roth IRA, you are paying taxes as a lower salary. Imagine if you worked in a bank and your income was maybe $50,000. You are paying taxes on $50,000 when you do the Roth contribution. But if you then work for 25 years, maybe by then you are a VP, your income has gone up to say $200,000. You are going to take your money from your IRA, your Roth IRA, tax free because it stayed for more than 5 years and you're retiring. You've already paid the taxes back then. So, and it has to be money from income. You can't save, it has to be money from a salary and all that. So, how you use an IRA is very, very interesting. You want to, it's so good. The government will not let you put more than, I think this last year it was 7,500. You can't put more than 7,500 in an IRA, right? Total. So it's that good. So what you want to do is that if you're in America, when you are doing your retirement, do your 401k, do your match. So you do your match. You say, hey, my company is going to pay 4%. If I match 4% contribution, I'm going to do a minimum of 4. Do your minimum of 4, then get your IRA. It can be a traditional, it can be a Roth. You can have both of them. But the total contribution to both of them will be the 7,500 at last year. Again, check your figures for this year's tax table. So when you do that, you are, first of all, reducing your taxable income if you do a traditional. Same in Nigeria. Any money you put as additional voluntary contribution, you are reducing your taxable income. So if you earn 10 million and you contribute 1 million to your retirement savings account, the taxman will see your income is 9 million, not 10 million. If you make an additional voluntary contribution of under 1 million to your retirement savings account or to your 401k, your income also falls by that contribution. So it's a perfect way for you to reduce your taxable income. Perfect, because that way you can reduce your income and then pay less taxes as well. So yes, make sure you do an IRA. Let me give you a hack. I see most people doing this in America that understand how it works. If you have a business, right? You have a business, you own your own business, and you have kids, you've got kids, 5-year-old kids, whatever kids you have. You can employ your kids in your business. You can employ them, pay them a paycheck. But what you think, someone's saying, I think it's 7,000. Okay, so yeah, so if your IRA is 7,000, then I think you have a $1,000 catch up if you are above 50. Yeah, but whatever it is, make sure you check for the maximum for your IRA and do it if you can. It's very, very good investment. Yeah. So if you have a child, let's go back to if you have an IRA, if you're in America and you have a business, you can employ your kids in your business legally. Even if it's a baby, you can use your baby as a model for your calendar. So you take your baby pictures, and baby pictures are going to be she's the model for your business calendar, right? So you pay your baby, which is age 1 year old, a paycheck or contract for being a model. Then you take that whole contract check and you buy or you invest into an IRA for the baby. The baby is how old? 1 year. So the baby earned active income. You give the baby a contract. The baby got that money. IRS want to see that. You take that whole contract, you contribute to the baby's account as an IRA. So that baby, from when the baby is 1 year old, that money sits in the IRA. She will pay no taxes on that income. Nothing will be paid till she takes that money out. How many years? She's going to go to school 18. She's going to work at maybe 21. It's her money. It's in her name. She can use that same IRA when she has her own job. Look at the tax-free compounded growth that baby is going to get for all that period. That's a hack. Your child is cutting grass. You pay him a paycheck. You give him an actual paycheck for cutting the grass. He takes that actual paycheck. He goes to the bank and opens an account, an IRA. So it's a hack that you can do. You've got to use those laws to your benefit, right? Same way you get a credit card for your kid as an authorized user, not a real user. You want to do that as well. So that's the advantage of using an IRA and retirement. They are tax advantage. They can grow without you paying taxes. And that's what we talk about compounding. It grows, it's not reduced by taxes. It just keeps on growing and multiplying. Yeah? Fantastic. So lots of questions here, guys, but I got to read the questions because some are duplicative and some are a bit long. So I sort of have to pause to read them. If you do want to ask a question, you can request and I will add you, but I have to pause to read the question. So sometimes I have to stop to read and then I can understand what you are saying. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, on that, a good question. How can I get 5? So APR just means the annual percentage rate, right? Annual percentage. So the bank will tell you interest rate. I use APR because it captures the total cost of the loan. So when you go to a bank and the bank says, let me give you just a key way you want to write APR. APR is like interest rate when you are borrowing. So when you go to a bank, the bank says, we're going to give you a loan for 5% interest rate. Ask them, what's the APR? Don't go with the interest. They will give me the APR because the APR will capture all the costs, the fees, the all that stuff. They will put it all in the APR. So that way you can compare. Because interest is just the cost of the loan, but there's management costs, there's insurance that are not part of the APR, right? So ask them for the APR when you are borrowing. The same way when you are investing, ask them for the APY, the annual percentage yield. Annual percentage yield. So if you are investing, you're giving them money, it's APY. If you are borrowing, you're taking money from them, APR. That would capture the total cost. So if you go to a bank, the bank says, we're going to give you 10% interest rate. On that bank says, I'm going to give you 9% APR. You compare, APY. You compare APY to APY, not interest to APY. So you ask the bank, no, give me your APY, which is what you are going to get from that bank if you left that money there for the whole year. Because if you put the money for 10% per annum, the bankers quote you per annum. So if you take the money by the 11th month, you don't make that 10%. So ask them, what is the APY? So you can compare bank to bank. If you are borrowing, APR. Hope that makes sense. Yeah, perfect. So I have a question here from Read1. Read1 is asking, freelance remote workers in Nigeria save for pension. Some of those, like insurance, is set not to be allowed for a Muslim. There are many. Okay, I don't know about the faith base, but I do know that we have lots of ethical funds in Nigeria that are set up for Muslims, and specifically there's Lotus that has a fund that you can buy. You can do the exact same thing. If you don't want to buy insurance, just buy into the Lotus fund and say, I'd like to buy this. There's also lots of, there's a Takaful insurance that they have. Get the Muslim equivalent and do it. It's the principle I'm talking about. The principle being that you have to provide for your dependents, right? If you can't save enough immediately, you have to provide for your dependents. So if you want to go to the insurance company that has a Muslim backing, yes, go there and ask them. I'm pretty sure they would have a version of this that would meet your ethical requirement, but will also allow you to provide for your dependent. Read one. Go to Lotus. I'm pretty sure they will have it. I did write an article on halal investing and Islamic investing. If you send me your emails, DM it to me, or your handle. DM me your handle. I'll try to send that to you. I did write something on halal and all that. Yeah, and I sent that to you. I created a halal fund when I used to work in an investment bank, so I know a bit about riba and all that. Send to me. I'll make sure I get that across to you. I got Anyinla requesting. Let me just see if I can get it real quick before he comes up. Yeah, I gotta read this. Ayla, once you're up, you can go ahead and ask your question. That'll give me time to read. Um, yeah, so this is yeah. So I just to be clear, right? I'm just doing education, right? Just education. So I'm not trying to give you financial advice, or it's not. I'm not asking you to go buy or sell. I'm being very careful what I'm doing here. It's not really. I'm not giving you advice. I'm not your financial plan. Just giving you educational advice. Ayla, hi, how you doing? Please go ahead.
Yeah, good morning. Good evening, Mr. Kai.
Hey, how are you doing today?
Sorry, good evening from Nigeria. I'm fine. Please, what you have been saying since, please, can you talk about low income earner and blue collar job, like rural and blue collar job sector, like talking about artisans. Let me give like let's like mechanic, technician, barber, and long. Like a laundry business and stuff like that. How can they like work their way around the whole process of insurance? Because at the point when I was like I was really going to school and I was having fun. So then I was trying to look for how to set up the retirement savings account for myself.
Yeah.
So just from the normal artisans of, but there's nothing like that for. I've not really come. The only one I heard of them was the Stanbic, and they have like subscription stuff for artisans and everything. But when I even went there, the response I get was not really what I was expecting. It doesn't really look well like an RSA kind of stuff. So I don't know if you can talk more about that. Because I think for everything I've been listening to, you're talking about people that are like high income earner or medium income earner. What about low income earner and artisans?
Yeah. Yeah.
How to do everything and how to make sure that they secure their future and all. So can you talk about that, please?
Yeah, it's a great question, Ayla. I appreciate the question. I know, and again, when I was talking, I was speaking about like if you compare your income and your expenses, sorry about that, and your income cannot meet your expenses. I wanted to focus more on your income side. But let me talk really about how a low income person or someone that earns lower income can achieve that. What is very important, I saw a study that showed that lower income folks save more per capita than higher income folks. I did see a report. I don't remember the name of the report, so I can't quote it. But folks that earn lower tend to have a higher savings rate when they save than folks that earn higher. I did see a report. What I would like you to do, sir, is to try to get, at the very, very least, daily savings. When I was in Lagos, I went to the market, mile 12 market, and I was with the market women there. And there were these guys that were coming around to their tables and were taking 100 naira from the women every day. That's how they save. So every day the women give them 100 naira. And then the women want to borrow money, that guy gives them he gives them less 100 naira. So if they want 1,000, he gives them 900. Then the 100 is his fee. So I asked them, like, this is so expensive. Why don't you go to the bank? And they were like, bank is too complicated. This is simple. They just give the guy 100 naira. The guy is there. They know him. They want money. They call the guy. They get money from him. Very, very simple arrangement. In a way, it made sense to me. They can't leave their store and go to the bank. The guy is there. So I would say try to focus on just saving money. Pick a percentage, even if it's 1% of your income. Just save it. People say it's not going to beat inflation. What you are doing is, I want you to get the habit of delayed consumption. If you can save and you can accumulate that savings, that's the first step. Before we then talk around, okay, where are you going to invest that savings? Ajo is very, very good in Nigeria because it gives you bulk capital, but you are also saving. But my advice for you when you're doing Ajo is take first or second. If you take last, don't take last. If you can take first or second, take it. Take that money and do something with it. That's where you can save that money. And then you just pay back the reason why you want to take first and second. I realize that when you take first and second, the interest rate is working on your behalf. When you take last, the interest is working against you. You are giving people money, they are investing. When they give you the money, you've already lost money because you have received the income at the end of the cycle. So I would say number one, try and save. Pick a percentage. 1, 2, 3. Don't do 10, don't do 15. 1, 2, 3. Get the habit of delayed consumption. Number one. Number two, if you're going to do a job, which I like, take first or second. Number three, you can actually do your pension in Nigeria now. They have what they call micro pension guys that can open a pension account for you, not IBTC. They have this micro pension people. Tunji Andrews is on Twitter. Awaba, that's the name of the company, Awaba. Someone can share that with Anyola. I would appreciate. Awaba, they do micro pensions. So you can go to them and open up an RSA account and you can make contributions. And RSA is a very, very good way for a saver in that because you are also getting your money is also being invested by the professionals in the industry. So if you don't know where to invest, you can just do an RSA. The money goes to the professionals. They invest on your behalf. The same way the 1 billion naira guy is getting advice is the same advice you are getting. So that's, I think, where I can like to give you that advice. Try to do a job first or second, collect. Daily savings is very, very important if you are in that category to do delayed consumption. And number three, yes, you can actually do get the RSA, but you have to go through a micro pension operator like Awaba, not the PFAs. Those ones are mostly targeted at organizations that employ people. They are not really set up for micro pension. I don't know if that helps. And like, if you don't get Awaba, send me a DM. I will try to make them to contact you. Yeah. Does that help in any way?
Thank you so much. Yes, I really appreciate.
All right.
So, please, can I ask one more concerning the policy?
Yeah.
About the, like, you're talking about, when you're talking about the Ajo, I think let's say someone do like Ajo.
Yeah.
You're advising that person should at least pick like 1 to 3 in order for them to use the investment and the return on that investment to pay back the other one.
I'm saying.
I'm trying to understand it from that angle.
So you see, that's what we call time value of money. Time value of money means that the cash you have today is worth more than the cash you're going to get tomorrow. So when you do a job and you collect your money today, the money you are getting today from everybody today is worth more than that same money if you collect it in 6 months' time. If you collect it in 6 months' time, it has no quote unquote value because you have already given your money out. It's like, look at it this way. If I told you you should come to my bank and put money in my bank and I will not pay you interest for 6 months, would you put money in my bank?
No, not at all.
That's what you're doing with a job if you collect last. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So you want to collect first. If you collect first, right, you have that money compounded. You have the money with you. So you can invest it and make more returns than if you are collecting last. When you're collecting last, you've lost 6 months interest if it's 6 people.
Yeah.
But when you collect first, you've gained 6 months interest if it's 6 people.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So try to do first or second. Yeah, people will say, but everybody will do first, but everybody's not on this space, right? You are on this space, so you have the advantage of learning that from you. So try to do first and second. Try to do your daily job, and yeah, that would work for you.
Thank you. Please, the Awaba, how can I get in touch?
Let me see if I can DM you. Let me see if I can DM you at AWA.
Thank you so much, Miracle.
So I'm just going to send you a DM. Okay, yeah, I just sent you. It's Awaba. Let me spell it. AWABAH Nigeria. AWABH. Let me just, I'm going to share it. AWABH. Awaba should come and pay me. AWABH.
Okay, AWABH Nigeria.
Yes, Awaba Nigeria. AWA. Let me share AWA. Awaba, I'm expecting my commission. Awaba Nigeria. Just shared it now. So yeah, you can follow. They do micro pensions, so you can follow up with them, and then they can get you. For read one for the gentleman asking what books, documentary you can suggest. I have a book. My book is very, very good. It's written. It's the same book you buy abroad with those terms abroad. But I made it in Nigerian book. So I use Nigerian examples, Nigerian names, Nigerian context. With everything I'm talking about here It's in my book. 272 pages with pictures, chapterized. So you don't have to read the whole book. You can pick a chapter and read. It's all in the book. So if you get that book, all my experience is right there in that book, number one. Or number two, just go to YouTube. Just put the title on YouTube there. Just say free. It will give you lots of lessons on YouTube. Anything you read or listen to for 2 hours a day, you become an expert on it. Anything you listen to. 2 hours a day. So if you're in the bus, put headphones on, hear podcasts on money, personal finance. There are a lot of personal finance people are in Nigeria. Olumide is always here. He's one of them. Follow them so you can hear those language that they use. If you don't understand what they mean, go to YouTube, ask Grok. Grok, what does this mean? And he'll tell you, right? So that's how you want to learn about money. You've got to make an effort to learn about it. Like what we're doing today. I'm sharing a lot of information. I assure you, if your company called me, they'll pay to come and talk to you. We're getting it for it's not for free, but you're getting it here, right? So make sure you get the book. I'm not plugging the book, but I wrote it specifically for people that do not know anything about money because it's very, very easy to read. It's very, very easy to understand, and it's in Nigerian context. So we use I named the fund. I'm not telling you, it's not a motivational book. I'm not telling you go and invest 10. No, I'll tell you where to go and invest it, how long to track it, where you would find them. I'm giving you actionable education for you to use, right? That's what I'm trying to do. So perfect. Oxley, how are you doing today, Oxley?
Yeah, doing okay, Kalu. Trust you are good today too.
I'm doing very well, sir. What's happening?
Good. So I just wanted to ask a question. In terms of investment, what do you think? Is it still a good idea to continue to invest in the Nigerian stock market, given that the exchange has lost 1.3 trillion in the past 2 or 3 weeks? Do you think this is the right time for, if you have something there to sell off, probably in the short term, it might not be, from now to the, let's say, first quarter of next year, it might not be a good idea to keep putting money there. It looks like people are pulling out their money, portfolio investors are leaving. So I just wanted to know your thoughts in terms of buying shares now in the NGR.
I think the answer depends on, let's go back to our high-tech blackboard. It depends on your plan. If I came to Nigerian stock market and I wanted to trade short term, I had maybe 5 million. I want to get out in 36 months and I want to trade I'll leave immediately. What am I doing there? I'll leave immediately because my plan is short term. The market is a bit bearish because the foreigners are going, so I'll leave. But if my plan is long-term retirement, why am I leaving, right? Why am I leaving? Because I want to take advantage of the growth in Nigerian stock market. The Nigerian stock market is one of the fastest growing. If you look at the whole world, right? For 2 years, this last decade, I think for 2 years, I think it was 2020, 2022, another year, Nigerian stock market was one of the best performing stock markets in the entire world. Markets go up, markets come down. The market was approaching a milestone before we had the Donald Trump tweet. It was approaching a milestone. So let me say something, right? Warren Buffett says that when you invest when everybody is running away. When there's blood in the street, that's when you invest. That's what Warren Buffett says. So when you want to invest, you invest when nobody's investing, then you then buy at a discount. So you want to ask yourself a question. Let me ask you, is the Nigerian market today at a discount or what do you think? Is the market today at a discount? Oxford, what do you think?
I think yes, they are still largely in discount. I think so. Some of the share prices are still, will I say, undervalued. Particularly bank stock.
Yeah. So
particularly bank stock and the oil and gas stocks.
Yeah. So if you think the market is at a discount, this is if you think the market's at a discount. Do you think it's a good buy now, or you want to buy when the market is going back up? When would you buy something at a discount? Do you buy it when it's on sale or when it's going back up? According to your plan. If your plan is to invest, right, then this is the best time to buy, Abi.
Yeah, I think so. But it's just that the fundamentals, the dynamics of the entire market, I'm not sure. Maybe there are a whole lot of instability. I don't know whether it is occasioned by some wahala and all of that. But it's the whole place is a little bit volatile.
Yeah, I hear you. So again, plan and ask yourself the question, why am I investing? Why am I investing? If I'm investing because I want to make 20 years return, 15 years return, Donald Trump will not be president after 3 years. So whatever tweet is there and all that might have been taken, it might have gone by then, right? That's the point I'm making. It goes back to your plan. You've got to have your plan and say, why am I investing? If I'm investing for long term and the market is coming down, that means the market is giving me at a discount. So I'm buying today. But if I'm a short-term investor, I'm out of the market today. It's really up to your plan. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just what is your plan. If you get us borrowing dollars to do investment in Nigeria, you should be in Nigerian market today because it's not going to be beneficial for you because of the market downturn. But if you're guy that's borrowing money, you're not borrowing money, you have patient capital, it's a discount market.
Yeah, I think so. But also that Kalu, the policies of the government, particularly the tax policy that they are trying to bring, I think effective 2026 for a tax of almost 30% of capital gain tax, which means if you've made some marginal income from stock exchange and you want to exit the market, your capital will be taxed. And I think that's why some of the portfolio investors are running away, because they know that by 2026, whatever you must have gained, you are going to lose 30% of it. So
I hear you.
I don't.
I think Mr. Taiwo was saying that they had corrected that. I was at a space that he was on. He was saying that they had given clarity on that. I apologize. I don't have exactly what the clarity means. But if you notice, the market came back after they had their meeting and all that. So that was a big problem. People were saying, I'm going to pay 30% next year. So I might as well sell today and leave with my profits. Yes, that was an issue. But remember, look at the point again, sir. If you invest in Nigerian stock markets today, you only pay that capital gains tax if it's above 150 million. So many people that are going to invest are not going to hit that threshold. And the market today is at a discount. So you have to ask yourself, if you want to invest in Nigeria, it's a discounted today. That's really your call. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just going to be, what is your objective? The S&P, Standard & Poor's, just did a review of the Nigerian economy, and they said the macroeconomy reforms have taken hold and they are satisfied and they are positive about the direction. So they're giving the Nigerian economy from stable to positive. They said also that poverty has gone up. They said they're not able to get good records from Nigeria. And they also talked about around that many things are still not there. But in terms of the reforms, they gave us a positive outlook. Outlook, meaning if all things go as planned, it's positive. So it's left for you as an investor to say, do you want to stay? Do you want to go? No right or wrong answer.
Okay, one last question. I don't know, what advice do you have? Maybe you can even do a space on this, right? What advice do you have for people that are coming to Nigeria to do in December in terms of payments? How do you want people to prepare? Now, I'm saying this on the backdrop of what happened last year. Where people left the country and there was a lot of chargeback from all over the place. So, how do you want? Maybe I think you can do a space on this.
Yeah, I just think that's
going to be payments, whether it is card payments, transfers.
No, I hear you.
How do you think people should prepare?
So what happened that I'm just being with all sense of responsibility, and I don't want to abuse anybody, but maybe the Nigerian vendors don't understand how to use American credit cards. Maybe that's why we're having chargebacks. When you swipe a credit card, you make sure the person puts his PIN, and then you get the CVU at the back of the card. That way they can't do a chargeback, because that means, when they swipe the card, right, get the CVU on the receipt, or get them to sign the receipt. A chargeback is not automatic. If you go to Visa, you say, I want to do a chargeback, they're going to ask you, the first question they're going to ask you, have you called the vendor? That's what they're going to say. Have you called the vendor? The vendor, if you say no, they'll say, okay, try and call the vendor. But if you are the vendor in Lagos, so if I have a bar in Lagos and somebody comes to pay with an American card to me, when I swipe that card, I will print a receipt and get the person to sign. And I make sure I notate the CVU, those 3 numbers at the back of the card. Make sure you notate it and put it on the invoice, and just file it away. File it for a minimum of about 90 days. Because if you do a cashback, Visa will call you and say, this customer said his card was not what, he didn't use his card. You just simply scan that receipt with the CVU, everything with the guy's signature back to Visa. That's it. They won't do a chargeback. But if you just swipe without getting the receipt, that's it. You have to give the customer a receipt. He will sign. It has the date, it has the time, and all that. The customer has to sign. You keep that receipt, because Visa can tell that he was there. They can see his phone ping on the thingy. They can see his plane ticket. They can tell he was in Nigeria. So he can't say he wasn't there. And all the for me to say, yes, he signed the card. Once you sign that card, it's hard to do a cashback. But I think many folks in Nigeria are just doing the transfer money or swipe, and when getting the guy to sign the receipt. It's the same thing in America. Many people go to hotels in America, stay in America, and then leave the hotel and say, oh, they use my card in the hotel. All the hotel does is just say, hey, this the invoice is signed. He signed here, blah, blah, and there are no complaints. End of story. So make sure you get the Americans or the diaspora guys to sign your receipt. Make sure you have a signed copy. Yeah, that helps you a lot.
Mr. Khan, can I ask a question?
I have this lady she dropped off. I was going to call her next. Joshua, please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you very much. I want to ask about the Nigerian stock market. So I want to ask which platform can I invest, buy and sell shares? Because I noticed that there's some. I saw some adverts that you can buy shares, you can sell shares online, but I don't trust those.
So Odesola, just real quick, right? Anyone that is SEC registered, it has to be Nigerian SEC registered. Do we have stockbrokers like IBTC, Otto Stevens, CSL stockbrokers? There are many of them. As long as it is SEC registered, you can use them. We also have what we call apps. So for the apps, you have Cowrie, you have Shaka, you have Rise, you have Bamboo. If it's also SEC registered, you can also use them. Yes. Make sure they are SEC registered. So you can even ask them, are you SEC registered? Or go online. If you go to the Nigerian Securities and Exchange Commission, you will see a list of all registered agents, stockbrokers, and rest. So use only those ones. Don't use anyone that is not SEC approved. Yeah?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. I appreciate you taking time to talk to. Yeah. Yes, you can buy through those Nigerian apps. You can buy American stocks through those Nigerian apps. They give you like a front sales view to get into those stocks. Yes. But remember, sorry?
Which one can you recommend?
I don't recommend online. But like I said, you want to buy according to your objectives. Yeah, buy according to your objective. If you don't know what to buy, you want to study first before you buy, sir. I would advise you, maybe before you buy an individual stock, look at the ETF, the exchange traded fund that buys the whole market. If I could even do any sort of recommendation, I would say start from the top down. So you want to buy the country rather than buy the individual stock. So if I was going to buy America, I will buy all of America, VTI or VOO, before I go and buy the individual stock. So that way you are diversifying. You are coming from the top than going to buy if you don't know. Because if you don't know why you're buying, if you don't know a stock, don't buy it, sir. but buy from the top. Maybe you buy Japan or America. Then that way you are buying a diversified portfolio of the best stocks in that company. That was what I would advise, sir. Make sense?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
You are very welcome. I can't pronounce his name. Ecclesia Privy. Did I get that right?
Ecclesia. Yes.
Hi, how you doing?
Good evening.
Good evening. Hi, welcome, ma'am.
I'm very yes. Good evening, everyone. So mine is just a quick one. I would like to know about the euro bond. So I don't know what's your opinion. Is it advisable to invest in that right now? And also some of the platforms I've seen so far, they seem to only accept in dollars. So I'm trying to ask if one can invest in other currencies, say for instance, euros. And generally, how is the euro bond market like currently in Nigeria? So I'm just need to get your opinion on that. And finally, maybe are there platforms, very reliable platforms that if one is allowed to invest in euros, are there reliable platforms that you can? Okay, you said you don't recommend, but
I'll give you the platforms to go to. Yeah. So euro bonds. So first of all, do you know what euro bonds are? Euro bonds simply means that the company or the country is borrowing in a currency not of its own legal tender. So if Nigeria is borrowing yen or dollars, that's a euro bond. Okay, fantastic. So question is, can you invest directly? It's very expensive to invest directly because I think they require $200,000 for you to invest directly in them. Okay, so how can you invest? There are lots of Nigerian funds that allow you to invest like a money market. So they create a fund, you buy into that fund, then the fund then buys euro bond. I know we used to have the guys from FCMB. FCMB have a dollar fund. Let me get the exact name for you. FCMB dollar fund.
Okay.
Yeah, they basically they give you access to euro bonds through that dollar fund. So you buy the fund. I'm going to try to share it for you, and then you get exposure to euro bonds. So when you are buying, it's called Legacy USD bond fund. So it allows investors to earn stable income in USD over the long to medium term, and it's more liquid, so and all that. So let me share that with you first of all, so you can. And there are many of them. There's IBTC, Vertiva has there are so many of them that you can buy. You can get exposure to the Nigerian euro bonds if you buy this, right? So I'm just going to copy this one. And if you go on Twitter, I'm just going to share that as the latest profile so you can grab that. You can just give them a call, say Kalu sent you want to talk to someone about the euro bonds. When they were here along, I think a year or two ago, lots of folks invested. I think they made some gains and all that. Okay, so I just share that for you, right? And there are lots of folks that do euro bonds as well to invest. So when you buy a euro bond, you are trying to diversify from naira to a different currency, but you're also trying to make income, which is why I like it. I like euro bonds than just putting the money in the DOM account, because DOM account will not pay you anything.
Yeah, because my money has been lying fallow, So with this whole regulation, I'm trying to diversify, right? So that's the reason. Some platforms reached out to me, but I still seeing your platform, like the ABCs, of how it works actually. So mine is, I don't know, is it just in dollars or, other currencies you can also, or I have to convert what I have into dollars for me to be able to invest in euro bonds? I know there are platforms there's this Cowrie Mutual, something that reached out.
Yep.
But I'm trying to look at them. They've been in the market for a while. But what I'm saying is, can I do in maybe other currencies that is not just now? They have to convert what I have to dollars for me to be able to trade in the market, in the euro bond market.
That is correct. The legacy bond fund is priced in USD. Right now, it's about $1.14417. So it's priced in dollars. So you give them dollars, they buy you into dollar fund, they pay you dividends in dollars as well. Correct. So if you just call the agents, I sent you. You've seen the link, right?
No, sir. I'll check once.
Yeah. So I just shared the link for dollar fund. So FCMB care. So if you let me just share it on Twitter. So if you get there, you basically essentially you invest in dollars, then they give you a return in dollars. There are many of them like this, right? Carry is also like the one you mentioned. They've been around, like you said, they've been around for a while. So you can also work with them, but make sure they are SEC registered. So the fund has got to be SEC registered, and the company also has got to also be SEC registered as well, right? So let me share this one. FCMB. Let me see. They have lots of stuff here. I'll just share the link with them. Then you can just go to the link, and their handle is there. So if you just send them, there are lots of. I'll just share the first one. If you send them a DM, and they'll come back to you. Just tell them Kalu sent you. They should be fine.
Very well. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
And one last question. I'm trying to take your time, please.
No, you're not taking my time. You're fine.
Okay. And apart from this, I'm looking at. I mean, the stock market is like you explained earlier. It's a bit volatile as of now.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if there are other platforms. I mean, for sure, I'm going to do the Eurobond because it's something I've really picked interest in. But are there other investment platforms that you think one, could just? I understand some of the withholding tax thing and capital, whatever is coming up next year.
Mm.
So I'm just saying, for one to be on this, are there other platforms that are a bit safe? I mean, other investment or alternative options that are safe for one to just put in money and.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Let me tell you, if you came to me and you told me you wanted to do you want to invest, don't I'm not being rude, right? But it's your age between give me a decade of your age. Are you 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40? What's your age? Your decade of your age?
Okay, I'm between 20 to 35.
Okay, that's fine.
30s.
That's fine.
30s rather.
That's fine. So why are you investing? Like, what's the reason? Are you investing because you want to leave money for a long period, or are you investing because you want to pay for something in 2 years, or are you scared of inflation? Why? Give me a sentence why you're investing.
Okay, I'm investing because, first of all, I mean, I've tried several businesses. I'm not someone who is good in, I put in my money and before you know it, the business goes down the drain. So I just need something that can give me a long-term, that I'm assured that, yes, I can be making something from this. It's not like I'm someone like I'm very good with
Understood.
finances.
How long is long?
I'm very good with finances, but I need something on a long term that, I know that the money can be there and I'm not even worried whenever I want to pull out. Because personally, I can keep money for as long as a year and not touch it and not even think that I want to do something with the money.
Okay, that's fine.
So I want something, a long-term kind of investment plan that just keeps me, out of.
Okay, that's fine.
I think you.
Hold up. How long is long? It's long. It's long. 5 years, 10 years. What?
3 years. Yeah, maybe 5 years.
3 years.
As of now, there's nothing critical that I really need, the funds for.
Okay. So if I'm hearing you right, you have Naira. You want to invest that Naira in an investment class that will sort of protect your money. Are you interested in just saving the principal, or do you want to grow the principal? Which is more important to you? I know you want both.
I want to see my principal, and of course, I want to grow. Even the interest can also be reinvested back.
Okay.
Into yes.
Okay, fantastic. God, sorry. Yeah. So, based on your answers, right, your age and all that, do you have any stock portfolio? Do you buy shares at all?
I haven't, honestly. I have not tried. I used the ones my parents bought for me, but they sold it, and so. But personally, I've not.
Okay, so what I'm asking is that because of your age and because you have a longer term horizon, I would really like you to take a look at equity, because equity allows you over a longer period to grow your principal. I hear you say you want to also protect your principal. You can't have both at the same time, right? But I would like you to build a portfolio, not just on Eurobonds, but also see if you can also do US investments, the same way you are doing US fixed income. So Eurobonds are what we call fixed income. I also want you to do US variable income. So you have both of them. There's the rule of thumb. It might not work for you, but they say take out minus 100 from your age. The larger number you get is what you go to equities. So I heard you say you're between 20 and 35. If we minus 100 from 35, that's about 65, right? So about 60% of your money should go to more of US equities, because you don't want the money today and you have a longer term horizon and you are younger. Maybe you do some equities, then you do some Euro bonds. And you can do them both from those apps that you're talking about, the SEC ones. They can give you US stocks, can also give you Euro bonds. FCMB can also give you the EU. So build a portfolio, not just on this one, both of them. So you can reinvest that Euro bond dollar. It's called a drip. You can reinvest it back and compound. Same with the equities. Yeah. Try to do it that way. So you set yourself up for growth. Like you say, not everybody's cut off for business, but in this way you can also build out a portfolio for yourself.
Okay. So sorry, you advise that I go into equities and also the Eurobond and these platforms that
I advise that you diversify. You diversify. So you have equities and also fixed income. You have a portfolio of two of them, right? So that way you are growing long term, right? That's what I'm trying to ask you to do. Yes. Does that work?
All right, sir. So yeah, it works for me. Please, I would appreciate it if you can tag me to. Okay, I don't know if it's like you've already tagged me to it.
Yeah, I sent if you go on, I just tweeted the FCMB thingy on the so if you go on the Twitter timeline, you should see FCMB link. Just go to that link, send them a DM.
Okay.
Yeah, send them a DM on FCMB on the handle, right? And then just ask me a question. I like to buy Euro bonds. What's the minimum? Blah blah blah. They'll talk to you. Yeah.
All right. Very well. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Sir.
Not a problem. Yeah. I got Doctor. Is it Doctor? Lulu Jibril. Did I get that right? How you doing, sir? Hey, what's up? Fantastic.
Thanks for hosting this space. I'm happy to follow. Just had a few questions.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned something about setting up a trust. How easy is that, and how recommended is that for Nigerians in diaspora having assets in Nigeria and trying to secure those assets from the taxman in other countries? The second question I was going to ask was based on, say, the new tax on no food. Does that apply to restaurants, or is it only food I buy in supermarket and the farm?
Oh, I didn't tell anything about no tax on no foods.
Oh, I thought you mentioned something about maybe something that caught me when you talking about the tax reforms coming up.
Oh, gotcha. So
insight.
Yeah, so I think it's the VAT. They don't want to charge VAT on food, but I know Lagos State charges sales tax on hotel and food and all that. But VAT on food is gone in the new tax regime, so that should help. But for income tax, food is not part of the income tax side. It's just going to be if you make an income. Yeah. So
Then the VAT part, I know that thing is because I know Abuja actually also has VAT on food and consumption tax as well. So on restaurants, hotels, and entertainment, they call it entertainment tax. So does that mean that's going as well?
Hopefully, because Abuja is federal, right? Lagos is state. Lagos has the right to charge sales tax. I think they've gone to court. Lagos won. Lagos can charge sales tax. So I don't know if Lagos will rescind that sales tax for VAT. I know the federal government was trying to negotiate with them to say, we'll give you 5% from the federal VAT, so you could remove all VAT from food. I don't know what's going to happen. We'll find out together in 2026 if they'll rescind that sales tax. I doubt it. It's a big revenue earner, so I doubt they'll take it back. But Abuja is federal. That should be easier for them to align with the federal tax law and not charge consumption tax, which is wicked, by the way, because Nigerians spend about 60% on food. So if you tax food, you are taxing the poor, because you're taxing what Dangote and what the poor guy eats. So we shouldn't tax food at all. But that's a different topic entirely, Doctor. So that's for the VAT. Let's go to your first question on the trust. It's actually quite easy to set up a trust. It's just who you pay. You can set up your own trust if you want. Go to a lawyer, they can do it for you, or you can go to a corporate trustee. There are first trustees, there's ARM trustees. Most of these banks have got trustees, and lots of them you see. If you just Google online, again, go to SEC website, look for trustees, and only go to those ones that are listed as trustees. If someone can share that, there's a link where you can look at SEC registered bodies. If someone can share that link and please tag me so I can retweet. There's a link where if you go to CMOS, that's what it's called, where you can get the SEC approved agents. Someone can share that link and tag me. I also retweet. So, doctor, if you go to that link, if you go to the trustee companies, yes, you can talk to them. They create a trust deed for you. They'll take what your requests are. And like I said, I advise that you then make the trustee your beneficiary. So both for your land, both for your shares, everything goes back to the corporate trustee. So that way they can fight for you in court, and they can also carry out your wishes if you then are no longer there and all that. Yeah, it's not that difficult to do, sir.
Thank you so very much. Thanks. I'll share the link now in the chat.
Oh, you have that link?
Yeah, I just found it. I'll
okay.
Post it out.
Perfect. So we can just share. So I before you invest in Nigeria, just make sure you always go to the the SEC link and make sure this is for securities that company is registered. The law says the company registered, and then the product itself has got registered. That way just makes you, it's just your own due diligence. So you just don't invest without doing that. Otobong, Lee Otobong, how you doing, sir? Lee, you got the floor. Lee?
Good evening. Yes.
How you doing, sir?
I'm fine, thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you for this space. Most of the questions I wanted to ask, you've covered them, especially from Ecclesiastes, I can pronounce that, and the last speaker. But I want to ask, I know it's not financial advice. If one were to had the option of investing in dollars just for the sake of building enough so that maybe one can retire in 5-10 years, would you advise, going by the fact that it seems the dollar to naira value is not something is not what it used to be, and most likely it might go down. Somebody who has a huge hold of dollars, would you advise to switch to naira? And then what's your prediction?
Don't put me in trouble. Okay, so look at it this way, right? Why are you holding dollars? We go back to the first question, the plan or the goal. Why are you holding dollars? If you hold paper dollars in your hand, you are losing money. It's not paying you any dividends. It's not paying you any interest. Paper dollars in your hand. If you put it in a DOM account, it's also not paying you anything, right? But if you put it in an euro bond, maybe it's paying you 3-4%. I'm not sure what they pay today. The return, 3-4%, is based on inflation of 2%. So if I hold dollar, the value of my holdings does not go down because the dollar inflation is just 2-3%, and I'm earning maybe 2-3% interest. So I don't lose my principal if I just hold dollars in the money market account, right? But if I hold naira, I have inflation of about 20%, but I have the opportunity to earn fixed income returns of about 20%. So it's naira net zero, dollar net zero. But which one do you think is more volatile is the question. Is it the dollar or is it the naira? That's the question for you. If you don't want to lose your principal, of course you want to hold the dollar. But if you want to make current income, of course it's the naira. But remember that current income of 20% is vis-a-vis an inflation of about 19% if you go with the inflation numbers and just released. So it's not a question of which is better. It's what's your objective? If I'm trying to save for my daughter's education to go to Harvard, I will not save in naira because my currency of expense is in dollar. So I'm going to save in dollars, or buy insurance in dollars because I'm going to spend dollars in 4 years. So even if I lose out on the high interest rate in Nigeria, I am matching my cost to that future expense. But if I'm paying, I have money, I have a house, I'm paying my taxes, I'm doing the painting, I can do it in Naira and Naira because I'm going to pay expenses in less than 12 months. So just the rule of thumb for me is always that if you don't want to, if that money is going to be spent in 12 months, Naira is always best. But if you want to keep that money for a longer period, dollar seems to give you inflation protection, which is the whole idea. Because if there was no inflation, we won't have this question. It would be an easy question. We just say, oh, Naira, because we don't care about inflation. It's because of inflation we have the question of should I hold Naira or should I hold dollars? It doesn't matter the return or the exchange rate. What matters is if you hold a dollar in your hand or a Naira in your hand, which one loses value faster, the dollar or the Naira? As an investor, you do not want to be in the currency that is losing value faster. Does that answer your question?
Perfectly. Thank you so much.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Anila, you had a follow-up question?
Yes,
Okay.
Can I go on or someone else on this?
Anila, go ahead. I'll call back to you. Anila, go ahead.
Alright. Okay, yeah, thank you, sir. And so, Mr. Kalu, please, in addition to what I was asking earlier, please, to say this, I remember there was one time you wrote this program about investments, stock and everything. And I came on board, you allowed me to, and I asked about app that I can use. So there's a particular app I'm using now. But the question I want to ask is, please, what would you advise for a beginner investor to start with? I have some, like in my portfolio, I have some shares that I bought from some company like Access Corp, and I think few others too, like I think Okomu and Co. Now, it's just like a testing ground for me anyway. But I want to ask, what would you advise? Like, is it aside of stock? These are money. What is it called? This thing just fly off my mind. Like in investment portfolio circle, what are we at the side of stock that a beginner should buy for long-term purposes, like 5 years or 10 years? That's one. Two is that let's assume somebody just starting off and any person is having a family. Like, how do you advise person to start saving for the kids' education? You didn't mention of it, Joe, but I didn't really catch it very well. You didn't mention it. These are my two questions. Like, is it money market they call it or money paper? I'm going the way they call it or mutual fund. Yeah, is it mutual fund? Is it stock? Is it what do you call it?
I understand.
Paper, is it money paper they call it? I can't really get it.
I think you're trying to say commercial paper. No, I get your question.
Which will you advise a beginner to really put body with for a long-term investment?
Okay.
Let's say this person now can be having let's say 50K in a month to be investing in that particular investment for every month in like a year, in like 5 years, in like 10 years.
Yeah.
Which particular you advise? Thank you. And the education for the child. Please just touch on it. Thank you so much.
Okay, fantastic question. So you have to ask yourself, why are you investing? We have to go back to the plan. Why are you investing that 50,000 naira every month? Why? Is it for your retirement, which is going to be maybe 25 years? Or are you trying to save money to educate your daughter, which you come in about maybe 10 years? The answer to that tells us what you should buy. Anyway, if you pull up the returns in America, pull up the returns in Nigeria, and you take a long-term look at the returns and you compare the asset classes of, say, equities, then fixed income, which is like bonds, money market, and the rest, and maybe you compare property, you would find that over a long period of time, equities are able to compound returns and are able to beat inflation. Overall, all things being equal, which is in the US, same in Nigeria, equities tend to beat inflation over a longer period because you are compounding. Those companies are reinvesting their returns, and of course, they're then posting bigger and bigger returns. That's over the long term. So if you want to invest for a very long term, in Nigeria, what is long term? Long term, 10 years in Nigeria is long term. In America, long term is 30 years, right? I would always recommend, based on your age and based on your ability to absorb losses, equities. Now, if you cannot absorb losses to your portfolio, don't do shares, don't do equities, because you will be forced to sell and all that kind of stuff. So, to your question, for a beginner that wants to invest, the first question you have to ask is, why am I investing? If I'm investing for short term, you are going to do fixed income. If you are doing shorter term, please do fixed income. If you are looking at longer dated investment, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, please do equities, shares and bonds, properties. Those are what are that would do better over a longer period. The same way, if you look at your retirement savings account portfolio, there are 4 funds. If you are younger, they put you in the fund that invests more in equities. If you are younger, if you are older, they put you in the fund that invests more in fixed income. So the same principle they are using. So if you are starting with 50,000 naira, always have a diversified portfolio. You can do 80% of that in equities, 20% of that in fixed income if you are doing that over a long period, right? That works for you, because and as you get older, you are rebalancing. You are going from equities to more fixed income. But the answer you give determines how you invest. The answer you give to that, why you invest, determines where you invest. That's your first question. To your second question, if you want to invest for your daughter, what you want to do, there's something called a present value calculation or even a future value calculation, where you go and you ask, if you ask an accountant or a finance person and say, I want my daughter to go to University of Ife. Today, University of Ife is charging 10 million. Inflation is 10%. What will Ife charge in 18 years? The accountant will tell you what Ife will charge in 15 years. Then what you are going to do is to work that figure he will tell you they will charge in 15 years. You will bring it back to today. And then you now tell this is the amount of money you have to invest today at this interest rate to get to that figure that Ife will charge in 15 years. So your investment is to match or to contribute monthly to meet that 15-year goal, so your daughter can have the principal to go to the university. It's called a target investment. You can also call it present value calculation. But that's how you want to do it. If you can't do that calculation, just use native intelligence and say, okay, I'm going to invest some amount of money in a bond or even an insurance scheme. You can go to an insurance company and say, I want to buy a term life insurance that will pay you out a certain amount of money. It will not beat inflation, but it guarantees that you have that principal. There are many ways to do this. You can have a portfolio that has a target date that you're going to take the money out. Make sure you tell the person you're investing with, I want this money back at this time. How should I invest it? And get a guarantee from them that is what you're going to get the money back from. Then you can use that to invest. But what you're asking is called a target date investment. And you can do it in many ways. I've given you insurance, I've given you stocks, I've given you going to a manager, but that's how you want to approach it. Your problem is inflation. That's your problem, inflation, because every year you don't beat inflation. The gap between what you have saved and what Ife will charge you is widening, and that's your problem. So in America, they have what they call you can buy what's called 529 plans, where you can buy an investment today for Ife, and then you pay what you pay today, they will honor it in 15 years. Maybe Nigeria should have that, where you can pay for education today. You give the school the money today, and the school will guarantee you that in 15 years, the kid will go to school for the same amount you have paid today. Why is the school doing it? Because they're getting money today to pay for their bills. In 15 years, they will sort themselves out. So that's how I advise you. You have to speak to an advisor, because this is a calculation that you need and you learn. So it's not something you just speak to them that they'll be able to do it for you. If you go online, there are apps that allow you to calculate this online. Do future value of an annuity. Just write it down. Future value of an annuity. That's what you want to calculate. Or present value of an annuity. That's what they're trying to calculate. Yeah, present value of Google it. Present value of an annuity. That's what they're trying to calculate. All right, Ayla, thank you so much. You're welcome. You're welcome, my brother. You're welcome. SAEM. How you doing? Guys, how long do we have to go? We're going to round up pretty soon, guys. Thanks so much for hanging on here. Yeah, SAEM. How you doing?
I'm cool, sir.
Yeah.
Hey, good evening, sir. Can you hear me?
I can hear you very well. Go for it.
Hello, sir.
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. My question is, I want to ask a question on crypto. Am I allowed to ask that?
Yeah, go for it.
Sir?
You can ask.
I don't know. Oh, okay, yeah. Apart, because the market is volatile right now, and we don't know what's really happening. Aside from Bitcoin and Ethereum, what do you think somebody can buy?
Yeah, but I'm not going to answer just because I can't tell you what to buy online. I can't give you a recommendation on what to buy. Not just because it's crypto, but for anything, I can't tell you what to buy. So you have to ask your advisor that question.
So are you saying you cannot answer that, sir?
Yeah, I can't tell you what to buy. It's not possible.
I'm not saying you should tell me. I'm just asking.
The same thing. All right. I can't tell you what to.
Mr. Kalu, don't do this, but it's fine. My next question: what kind of, as in some reasonable equities out there do you recommend? Like which and which?
No, again, it depends. So you're asking me questions that I like. What I always try to answer is, what is the objective? Why are you buying equities? If you tell me this is what I want to.
Both questions are for a long time. You're talking about 5 to 10 years.
No, that's not a number. Give me a number. How long are you investing for?
5 years.
Okay. If you're buying 5 years, should you be in equities? I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Okay, 5 years is too short.
I think so. I mean, you can make money in 5 years. I'm not saying you cannot, but why are you investing in equities for 5 years? Equities are you are trying to buy into a company's profit and loss. So unless you're going to buy into a mature company that's already mature today, and of course you then get dividends, you're not going to really make a lot of money on equities. But imagine if you put into a brand new company that was just into the market, and then you grow with that company. And as you grow with that company, then you're able to then see your principal grow and double, right? So remember that the stocks can grow because of inflation, and can also grow because of the market has expanded. They have got more productivity. That's what you're looking for. So if you just want to invest and just get inflation returns, 5 years, but no, I don't know if 5 years is going to be sufficient for you. I'll prefer something longer. Nigerian ETFs don't do as well in terms of liquidity, but I would prefer that you maybe look at maybe the mutual funds. If you don't know what to buy, you look at the mutual fund, Nigerian 30. You can build it yourself. The top highly capitalized stocks in Nigeria tend to do pretty well. Follow the money. What do Nigerians spend money on? Food, right? There's Dangote sugar. There's Bua. All this. Where else? So just look at what Nigerians spend money on, then invest in that. Nigerians bank, right? So all these banks are doing money. Nigerians buy gas. So it's not, you don't have to be a financial genius to know where to put money in. But wherever you see money going to is where you also want to invest in. But you also want to have the patience to also be there. Look at the market has gone down today. If you invested 4 years ago, you have lost your money today. But if you are patient, you'd have maybe be able to make the principal back. So you've got to really talk to your advisor, and you've got to have a longer term objective to then invest in equities. That's what I would answer. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, guys. So we've got about 15 minutes to go. Appreciate you guys hanging out here. Esquire, go for it, Esquire.
All right, GM, Mr. Kalu. Thank you for what you're doing for the community. Thank you very much, GM, to you, all the amazing speakers and the listeners.
Perfect.
Sorry, Mr. Kalu, pardon me, I'm in a noisy environment. I just want to ask about this Kauri app. I actually, I I downloaded the app and I did all the necessary registration. So I just want to try it. I invested some amount of money that is on the mutual fund, but I don't know how, the credibility of this app. I said, let me find out from you. And maybe I just put some little amount of money. After a month, I saw the dividends around 100 and something naira added, but I don't really know how effective or how the app really works. I said, let me find out from you, sir.
Yeah, I can't really talk to you about the app. It's not my app. What I can tell you is that the Kalu is SEC registered. So I would try to send them a DM and ask them about the app issue specifically. But I just know that's SEC registered. Like I said, not just always, only register using SEC apps, and they are SEC registered. That's what I want to say. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hey, you're welcome, guys. All right, perfect. Someone is asking me a question. Why do we have to register with SEC? Does SEC mean that the company will not fail? No. SEC does not guarantee success of the company or that the company will not fail. But at least SEC allows you to weed out fraudsters in the market. Remember MBA Forex? I don't think they were SEC registered and all that. SEC means the company and the fund are registered, not just the company and whatever investment registered. So most of these fraudulent apps are not SEC registered. So in a way, if you just do SEC registration, you weed away most of the fraudsters, and it just helps you. It's your money, you've worked hard for it. You don't want that much to disappear in the drain, guys. That's basically it. All right, so I'm going to take a few questions and then we'll sort of call it a day. So I'm going to let you guys go. About 6 minutes to go. Let me try.
I have one question.
Yes, please go ahead, real quick.
Yeah, I remember I just bought some shares, like 2 shares, 2007, like that. So, but I have forgotten it. So I just saw it online that I can reclaim my share. So I think it's Link platform. So I searched my name, I saw it that was claiming dividends. So I filled the form, they deduct their money from my bank account. So I didn't see anything. I didn't say anything, but they have deducted their money, their charges like that.
Yeah, so you should try to go to the registrar or to the company that deducted you. I know if you are looking for your lost shares or lost dividends, if you go to registrars, they give it to you really on the spot. If you take your ID with you. So I'm not sure who you paid it to, but I would try to get back to those guys. If they've taken away their fees, yeah, so go to them, call them or go to them and make a complaint to them directly and say you paid, take your proof of payment and that you haven't received the credits as regards your dividend shares. Ask them how long it takes. Maybe it takes some time to come. They are very, very they're a reputable organization. So it might just be that it takes maybe 2 weeks after they charge you to come. So try to call and find out how long it takes. Yes. And that way you can really get your funds in. Yeah.
Okay.
Fantastic. All right, guys, let's just do a recap. We're going to end in about 5 minutes. Let's just do a quick recap to you guys about what we talked about today. Today, we were talking really around the concept of a financial health plan. And today, we focused just on the income and the expenditures. We're going to have this space again, and we're going to talk around now the assets and the liabilities. So just to go over the plan again, what we did here, we did number one. The first thing you want to do in 2025, I said you should have to do a plan. Do a 1-year plan for 2026. Do a 5-year plan till 2030. Then a 10-year plan till 2040. You want to ask yourself, what do you want to accomplish? How much? Put a monetary value, put a date, and put why. Why will allow you to eliminate the wishes and only leave the ones that are important to you. So the first thing you want to do is to have a plan. Then you want to buy insurance. And we explained that insurance is not life insurance per se. You are trying to fund any liabilities that you might leave for your dependents. So if you have a mortgage or you have education for your kids, you want to buy life insurance that corresponds with that amount of liability so that the life insurance company, you can pay to a trust and that trust can pay off those liabilities. So if anything happens to you, you are sure your house is going to be paid off and your kids are going to go to university. We talked about emergency funds, 3 to 6 months of your expenses. We said have at least it should be in cash or near cash, not invested in stocks or bonds or crypto, but cash or near cash of 3 months minimum of your necessary expenses. You have to have this guy. Then your retirement. If it's in Nigeria, your retirement savings account. If it's in America, your 401k and also your IRA. You want to build up your retirement fund to also fund because it's tax advantaged, right? We said also if you're in America, make sure you are doing the minimum of your match. You have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 before you then go into investment. You don't invest if you haven't built your insurance, your emergency fund, your retirement plan. You don't do that. Once we do this, forms our basis of how we want to approach not just 2026, but the entire investment journey. Then we then talked about what I want you guys to do in 2026 specifically. And 2026 specifically was around us tracking our income. We want to track our income and expenses. We want to categorize what we have tracked, income and expenses. Then we want to make sure that our passive income is able to pay our expenses. And we're very, very particular. When we said track your income, we gave you 2 ways. We said essentially we want to track for income, active income and passive income, and also for expenditures, non-discretionary income and discretionary income. Active, you have to be there to make that income. Passive, you don't have to be there to make that income. That's rent, that's your share returns, your dividends, even airdrops. These are all passive income. The whole idea is our passive income has got to cover our expenses. That's why we are working. If you look at the chart I have up there on the YouTube, it's showing you how we want to approach our working life. Our number one, our active income has got to pay or fund passive income assets. And our passive income assets has then got to create passive income. And that passive income then pays our discretionary and non-discretionary expenses. We said when you can retire, it's when your passive income is able to at least cover your non-discretionary expenses. Once you have that, that's when you can retire. That's when you are quote unquote wealthy. Your whole objective is to convert active income to passive income. Very simple. That's what you want to do as you work. And we'll give you a lot of tips. We're going to have this exercise next time. I'm not sure if it's going to be next week, but the next one we're going to have, we're now going to go into assets, liabilities, and of course, net worth. We'll talk about what assets, what you should do in that part of your balance sheet, and then how you can incorporate that back into your plan. That's what we're going to do. So I just want to thank you guys for hanging out here with me on a Sunday. I apologize. It's we're going to have it 7 p.m. Yes, we have daylight savings time, so we did miss out the time. We're going to still be on 7 p.m. Of course, West African time. So I hope I see you guys next week. I hope you brought your notes, and I do hope you did learn something. Give me feedback, how else you want this to be done, what I did well, what I didn't do well, so that I can make it better. If I want to use a whiteboard, I have a whiteboard right in front of me. I can use a whiteboard and stand and write. Let me know. This is more of education part of my whole space that I do. So just education. I want to get you guys all set up. This is how you should do it, guys. Not do it this way. This is how it is taught to be done. And it has many advantages I cannot tell you, but this is how you want to set up your expenses going forward, right? So thank you so much for this. And I hope you guys will be here next week. On that note, I'll let you guys go. I'll see you next week. My name is Kalu Aja. And again, if you can, do get the book. It's only available on Amazon. It's Let's Talk About Your Money. It's on my Twitter handle. Do get it. It would bless you. And I think that all this information is all in there for you guys, right? Fantastic. All right, have a good one. I'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much, and bye.